He's just starting his motorcycle when a man gets on it. The man was in a hurry, making a phone call. He didn't listen to his explanation. Kareem looked confused, but he did what he was told. He gave the man a ride out of the goodness of his heart. When he arrived at his destination, the man hastily asked for a price, but Kareem had never done this before, so he let him pay whatever he wanted. On the way back, Kareem thought it was a good job, so he went to the pickup point. He tried his hand at driving a motorcycle. He stopped and someone tapped him on the shoulder. To get a job here, he had to pay an administrative fee. Carlin was at a loss for words. He had no choice but to leave in a state of mourning. He waited for a long time in a deserted place. He finally got his first customer. The man was carrying his fabrics and selling them. At the door of the store, he told Kareem to wait where he was. He waited until he had finished his business. Then he came out to give Karen the check, but Kareem, like last time, he just let him pay whatever he wanted. A car broke down on Carlin's way back. A man in a suit stopped him in a hurry. Carlin took him to a construction site as instructed, but the man told him to wait where he was. Then he ran off in a hurry. Karen waited for a long time. He never showed up again. As he looked around in boredom, he found a discarded antenna. The security guard gave it to him, and then the customer came back.
هرچی کردم تو قابلش مونه نداره.
هزار تومان کافیه؟
خدا بده برکت.
The man had never been on a motorcycle before. He gave him 2 large bills. Looking at the amount of cash, Karen was at a loss for words. He went after him and tried to stop him, but the man left without looking back. Karen hesitated for a moment before taking it. He had earned his money and found an antenna for the children. When he passed the fruit stand, Karen bought 2 pounds of fruit, but he was so focused on getting home, he didn't realize that the bag was torn. The fruit fell all over the place. Luckily, his wife didn't blame him. Instead, she praised him for his work. Karen set up the antenna. The family radio went on. The dirty motorcycle became the family's greatest asset, so the whole family joined in. They worked together to clean the motorcycle. Karen worked hard and didn't mind getting dirty. His business is booming. The laborer is a simple man. They always pay their fares, but then he picked up a cocky guy. In the end, he didn't want to pay at all. Carlin chased him down and demanded it, but he made a show of being a scoundrel. Carlin stopped him. He even called for a beating. Karen was speechless, but he could only run away. When passing by the construction site, Karen chatted with the security guard. He remembered his favor. He greeted him warmly. Karen went to a store to buy water. He saw an ostrich egg by accident. After asking around, he found out the owner had found it in the desert. He immediately became distracted. He rushed to his home, but when he arrived at the village, he saw the children cleaning the water cellar. He was furious. He hurriedly chased some of the children away. It was because of the children's behavior. That's what cost Kareem his job. He used to work at the farm in town. He was a good ostrich breeder. It's a job he's had for most of his life. He made a decent living. One day, a worker told him his daughter's hearing aid fell into the cellar. It turned out that his son had a whimsical idea. He wanted to raise fish in the water cellar. His sister accidentally lost her hearing aid to help him. It's not a cheap gadget. It cost Karen over 2 years of savings, but after a lot of searching, he found the hearing aid. Colleen wiped the hearing aid over and over again, and prayed that the gadget would still work. His daughter has an exam next week. She can't get around without her hearing aid. He tried to get it repaired. The hearing aid is completely broken. Karen had to return to the farm, but just then, an ostrich wandered off. A group of people rushed to chase it, but they couldn't outrun the ostrich. In just a few turns, the ostrich disappeared into the hills. Colleen rushed back to the field. He got on his motorcycle and chased him up the hill. They searched all over the hill, but in the end, they found nothing. An ostrich is very expensive. To keep his job, Kareem disguised himself as an ostrich. He stooped and searched, trying to attract a female ostrich that way, but after days of searching, there was no sign of the ostrich. When he returned to the farm, the workers began to shun him. He found his tools thrown out the door. The boss fired him for losing the ostrich. The supervisor gave him an ostrich egg for his trouble. Kareem was saddened, but he had to leave. He bought gifts for the children, and pretended that nothing had happened. His wife saw the problem right away, but she didn't say anything. The family gathered around to discuss how to open the ostrich egg. Karen took a nail and drew a mark on the top. His wife poured the egg into the pan and made a pot of scrambled eggs and divided it into portions. The boy shared them with the neighbors. Karen was barely making ends meet as a motorcycle driver. That day he had just delivered a customer. He was asked to take the goods upstairs. Although Karen was reluctant, he chose to help out of the goodness of his heart. The family was busy moving. They took Carlin for a hired hand, but as soon as he lifted the heavy load, he accidentally tore his clothes. Luckily, the owner of the house was nice. Not only did he pay him for his work and gave him a brand new shirt, that day, Karen had a customer. In his haste, he accidentally overpaid. He had already gone a long way. He came back on foot. Looking at the money he had sent back, Kareem felt a warm feeling. He went to a power plant. The next one was a delivery. To make it strong, they tied a refrigerator to Karen. He couldn't breathe, but Kareem appreciated the work. It was the first time he'd ever done this kind of work. Karen followed the team closely, but his motorcycle broke down unexpectedly. Colleen shouted anxiously for a long time, but the workers left first. He started his motorcycle, but he didn't know the address of the shipment. He could only follow the possible routes. When he was exhausted, he had a horrible idea. If he sold his refrigerator, refrigerator, enough to buy a hearing aid. After much hesitation, he took the refrigerator home first. Looking at this precious thing, the family was full of curiosity. But Karen looked at it. He thought it was a big problem. He had been an honest man all his life, but now he couldn't help but feel greedy. Karen arrived at the home appliance market. He was immediately surrounded by people. They said the refrigerator was too old. He deliberately lowered the price. He was already counting the money. Karen fled the place in a hurry. He was afraid that his impulsive greed would kill him. Karen continued to search along the road. Finally, he found the consignee. He thanked him for his honesty. The man not only paid his wages, but also offered him a job.